Have you ever dreamed of selling it all and cruising into the sunset? Well, that's exactly what we did. It's no fun going it alone though, so why don't you join us for the ride?
So it is the 31st of January, and we are leaving for the Bahamas this morning, 8 a.m., less than an hour. I've got the fishing rods all rigged up, ready to go here. We're going to catch something big. And because you need to assume the identity of your prey when you go for your prey, I've got my mahi shoes and my mahi neck gaiter. Don't think we'll catch any mahi today. It's a little bit off season, but we'll definitely go for wahoo. I think we're going to do pretty good. Stay tuned.
So 5 of us PDQs left No Name Harbor at the same time. We had looked at the forecast and expected 1 to 2 foot seas with maybe 10 to 15 knot winds, and it was a little bit off. There were at least 3 to 4 foot seas across the Gulfstream. It made for a pretty gnarly ride over, but we were all talking to each other on the radio and having a good time, and decided to just slog on through it. Sadly, it was a little bit too rough for me to fish. So the island of Bimini in the Bahamas lies 55 miles off the coast of Miami due east. Now, about halfway there, we lose sight of Miami, and we don't see Bimini till we get probably about 10-15 miles away. And it's so flat, you don't really see it at all, but we did see cruise ships that were anchored towards the north of Bimini. Being on the leeward side of the island, the water calms down pretty quickly as you get near the entrance. You're greeted by some nice condos, and you can see the hue of the water change to a beautiful kind of light green. And that light green color is an indicator that the water is getting shallow. Honestly, we started to get super excited when we saw the clarity of the water. I mean, here we're in about probably 15 feet of water, and if we slowed down, you could clearly see the bottom. It was amazing. We were warned by some boating friends that the entrance is not really well marked and you need to be careful, but we found otherwise. It was really well marked, and especially with the sun up, you could definitely see the different colors of the water to tell you where the channel was and where you needed to stay away from. We didn't have any luck anchoring, so we decided to pick up a quick marina for the night so we could check into customs and immigration. We chose the Big Game Club, and overall it was a great choice. They have a pool, restaurant, showers on site. They also have a customs office on site, so it made it super easy. So checking into the Bahamas is pretty easy if you do the upfront work. They have a website, so you need to go online, and it's called Click to Clear. And at the website, you put in pretty much all your information, passport information, if you're importing any goods, information about your boat and documentation, etc. Then you submit it and you request a cruising permit. And you pay your fee. If you're under 35 feet, I think it's $150 for 3 months. And above 35 feet, it's $300 for 3 months. The cruising fee also comes with a license to fish and lobster. When you arrive in the Bahamas, you have to display the yellow quarantine flag to let officials know that you have yet to clear into customs and immigration. And only the captain can leave the boat with passports when it's time to clear in. The clearing process only took us about 30 minutes or so, and then once back to the boat, you take the quarantine flag down and you display the courtesy flag. And you can see here it is the 3 red squares and then a Bahamas symbol on it. And you can see in the background the Bahamas native flag. You don't want to display the native flag, you always display the courtesy flag. And we bought these flags, both the quarantine and courtesy flag, on Amazon. As it was already late afternoon and we were only here for one night, we wanted to go off and do some exploring. nice quick score on beach glass. We found a pretty cool local beach bar, but unfortunately we forgot the cash. We ate dinner at Big Game and it was actually really good, but early night for us as we had to recover from that day of bashing.
So it is February 1st. We are leaving Bimini on this beautiful morning. Supposed to be calm, heading to the Berries to meet up with the rest of the group and plan to stay there potentially a month. Not quite sure yet, but we know it's a great anchorage. And that's where everybody else is hanging for a while. Maybe nice just to have a little vacation, do nothing other than beach and play. So we're off at 7 a.m. a little early, but worth the trip. We've got about a 5-hour ride, and Brian's going to try to fish today, so fingers crossed.
As we left Bimini so early, the sun isn't that high in the sky yet and you can't discern the shallow water from the deep water, so you really have to monitor those channel markers. In stark contrast to yesterday's lumpy crossing, today the winds were light and the seas were almost flat calm. It was amazingly beautiful. And we were in an area called the Bahama Bank, which is pretty shallow, about 15 to 20 feet deep, so that helps to keep the seas down. We were traveling at a fast clip, like 15 miles an hour, which is a little fast for trolling, but either way, I figured I'd throw some lines out and see what we got. Pancake 2 was enjoying the smooth ride today. Fish on! Fish on!
We got fish on, fish on. We shall see what Brian is going to be pulling out here soon. We can just hope it's not a barracuda and something good to feed us and our friends later. Hello, Mr. Barracuda.
Barracuda are aggressive fish. They go pretty much for any lure, and you got to be careful taking it out of its mouth because of these sharp teeth, but we threw this one back for sure. So the Berry Islands region of the Bahamas is where the cruise ships have some of their private islands, and that's why we saw these cruise ships in the distance even before we saw the islands themselves, as they are fairly flat. A lot of cruisers avoid going to the Berry Islands because they're very shallow in depth, but our boats have a very shallow draft, only about 3 feet, so we can get in all those places where sailboats with their long keels cannot get into. We're in about 15 feet of water here, but it's super clear and very easy to see the bottom, which is pretty much all sand. At one point we stopped the boat entirely and just floated around for a while to admire the crystal clear aqua water. Our destination is Great Harbor Cay Marina on Great Harbor Cay, and as we approach we see that there's a very narrow cut that has been made through the rock and coral to get us into a very protected little harbor. I think it's one of the top 2 protected harbors in all of the Bahamas and great for a storm or a hurricane. The marina rates are super reasonable too. I think for 1 week it's $11 a foot, and then for a month it's like $22 a foot. So really after 2 weeks there you get the rest of the month for free. We were fortunate enough to have Traveler, Heron, Island Time, and Onward all able to dock next to each other. Harvest Moon, Easy Rider, and Headway were a little bit further down the dock. Our fly bridges are an inviting spot for afternoon cocktails. We were also located adjacent to the Grill and Chill, a nice little gazebo area where a gas grill is available, and where cruisers congregate at night for socializing. Adjacent to the Grill and Chill is a fish cleaning station, and that's where we met the mayor of the dock. He was quick to tell us that he provides all the services. This is why you never swim next to a fish cleaning station at the dock.
What's your name, man?
Fettuccine.
Fettuccine. That ain't no fettuccine right there.
I can make fresh fettuccine.
So how big is that grouper?
About 80 to 90 pounds.
Wow.
So Fettuccine's the guy you call when you want to clean fish, and even he'll clean the bottom of your boat. He is not afraid of the sharks down there. Today he's cleaning fish for a boat that's in from Fort Lauderdale, and we happened to meet some of the crew members. You might recognize this one. She's Camille from Bravo TV's Below Deck reality show.
Okay, so we're in the Berry Islands at Great Harbor, and we're with the very prestigious Camille from Below Deck.
It is me.
Captain Sandy didn't necessarily like that season, but she's super nice in person.
She's very nice.
So, and a hard worker, obviously.
Yeah.
And you said that you take care of the crew with all the fish they're cleaning and
I do.
so forth. So you know what?
Right, here's the deal.
We're on Team Camille.
Team Camille.
Team
We'll see
Camille.
you on Bravo.com.
Below Deck. Cheers.
Cheers.
Not a bad way to end our day in the Berry Islands on Great Harbor Cay. And on our next episode, we will be showing you a little bit more about this island and do some exploring. And I think you'll find it very interesting. Thanks for tuning in.